My name is Lisa. You're watching Queen Bee Creations as we do today's Facebook Live. Today we're working on a post-it note holder. This is one of the things I've done for years and years and years, and it's one of the most popular videos I have on YouTube. And so I thought with this latest craft fair coming up, it would be really fun to make some more. So I wanted to show you guys how I go about doing it. Let me move you down to my desk space. So here we are with the post-it note holder, and like I said, it's just cardstock with some DSP, and then I've got a Velcro closure on here. These are just sticky back Velcro closures. Let's get started. So we're going to start out, we're going to need some cardstock, and so I'm going to bring in our brand new paper trimmer. I'm excited to say we now have a date for when you guys can get it. This will be available to everyone as of November 1st. So if you're excited about the new paper trimmer, it's coming out November 1st, and I would appreciate your support if you would buy that through my store. That enables me to continue doing what I'm doing, which is a job that I love. So this is 8.5 by 3.5, and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to score this at 1.5, 2, 5, and here we go down here. I can see better. 5.5. Do that at 5. There we go. So then we're just going to burnish the score lines. So again, this was 8.5 by 3.5. I scored at 1.5, 2, 5, and 5.5. And so there's the basis for what we're going to be decorating and putting our post-it note in. Let's see, let's grab some tear and tape. And in order to put this in here, rather than using snail, I'm going to go ahead and use tear and tape because it is much more secure. Hi, Patricia. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your faithfulness in that. So I'm just putting a bunch of tear and tape on the back of my regular post-it note paper. Post-it note, I guess, is a brand out there. But, you know, these are repositionable notes. Is that what we would call them for the generic brand? Because I can pick up quite a few of these at Walmart or, you know, a big box store for fairly inexpensive. I know the name brands tend to be a little more. And this allows me to give them a full pad instead of a half of a pad for the same amount of money at my craft fairs. So there we go. I have that stuck down. And then I've got some designer series paper. And I have, these are all, most of them, the ones for the outside are all 3 1/4. So we have 2 of them that are 3 1/4 by 2 3/4. And then 3 1/4 by 1 1/4. So this one's going to go up top. These are going to go on the 2 big pieces, and then I've got some really skinny pieces. These are like 3/8 of an inch that are going to go on our corner, our edges here. And you can decorate those or not decorate those. I've seen them done both ways. And then I've got a piece that is 3/4 by like 3.75, I think it is. And for that, I'm going to do is I'm going to curl the edges of this, you know, very gently, but I am pushing with the bone folder into it to give it kind of a curl. I don't know if you can see that, but as I curl this, you know, and break down the fibers, it gives it this natural kind of curve to it. And that's going to allow me to roll it up and shove it inside the pen much easier. I almost always use the RSVP pen. I find them very easy to take apart and install the paper into. All you have to do is unscrew this end and it comes apart. And then I would take this and you kind of roll it up as small as you can. That's why it's important to burnish it with the bone folder, so that you've started that curl, and it makes it so much easier to roll it up and stick it into the barrel of the pen, and it also makes it much smoother. And then I will tend to put this seam where the words are, because I figure it kind of, you know, hides it a little bit. But then you just slide it inside your pen and then put the cap back on it. So you use the same DSP that you were using for covering your Post-it note pad. So that could be any number of things. Then I'm going to take some adhesive and I'm going to put the decorations on the outside. Sophie, calm down. Now you want to watch if your paper has a direction. You want to watch that a little bit. Sometimes I've even wanted to line up the pattern, you know, if that's important to you. Make sure you make your cuts so that you can line the pattern up so it continues. So see how my roses are, you know, they kind of look like they're going to continue, whereas that doesn't. So I mean, either one of those would work, but I like this one better. I didn't actually pay attention to how I was cutting them this time, but like I said, if that bothers you or if it's something that you would want to watch for, you can. I also want to make sure that I'm getting the adhesive fairly close to the edges, because you don't want it to lift. Because I figure this will be something that I like throw in my purse or, you know, have handy. And it might get tossed around a little bit, and so I want it to be fairly sturdy and not come apart. I signed up for a huge craft fair here in Twin Falls, Idaho. It's the largest one I've ever done, so I'm excited to see how that goes. I'm hoping it's going to go well and I get lots of sales, or at least lots of exposure to customers that may want to come and attend my classes or order from my store, watch my Facebook, all those sorts of things. So wish me luck on that one. Okay, for the closure, like I said, I'm using Velcro dots, and these I picked up again at a big box store, just in the sewing section, and they're just small sticky backs. And so there's a soft edge and then a prickly edge, which is, you know, the loop and hook. So I'm going to put one up there, and then I'm going to take the other one, the other side of it, and I'm going to adhere it right there. Because what that'll allow me to do is position this up the way that I want it, and then when I press down, it will stick where I want it to stick. And so now the other half is here, but that allows me to line them up so that they touch. And then I'm going to put a sentiment on the front, and for this one I used "I'm lucky to have a friend like you," and I pulled that out of the Love What You Do stamp set. That's this one right here. And so I'm just going to stamp that onto some Whisper White cardstock. Hi Sonia. Have you ever made these Post-it notes before? So I stamped that in Mossy Meadow because that's the cardstock I'm using there. And then I'm going to come in with my punch. So I'm going to use this label punch here. I mean, you could use any kind of punch you wanted for the front, or even a die. But this one just seemed to fit very well into that shape. So I'm going to punch out my sentiment, and I stamped first and then punched so that I could make sure that I was straight. For me, it's easier to move it around inside the punch than to try to line it up stamping wise. So just something I do there. You can go either way. And then I'm going to punch out another piece because I want this to be good and sturdy. Like again, because our Whisper White is a little bit thinner, I want to make sure that it's going to be sturdy as it goes in and out of somebody's purse or gets open and shut, those sorts of things. And again, because I want wiggle room, I'm going to use liquid glue. so that when I set it on top of this other one, I can wiggle it around and make sure that it lines up exactly. I don't know if you can hear the puppies back there. They're like playing. Sophie, relax. So I've just put adhesive on the top half of this label, and that's because I want it to be able to open. I don't want it to stick down here. I want it to stay up on top. So there we have it. There's our Post-it note with our matching pen and our Velcro closure. So I hope you find this useful and that you can make one of these. For the craft fair, I'm going to be packaging them up in these little cellophane bags, and what I'm going to do is place this inside the bag, and then I'm going to slide the pen inside here, and then I've cut some bag toppers, which is just, you know, the width that you need, and then I doubled, so it's 4 inches by, I guess, 2 1/4. No, 3 1/4 by 2 1/4. This is, so that would be, gosh, I can't even think, 6. Anyway, the idea is that I want it to go over the bag like this, and then I'm just going to put another piece of the designer series paper on here, and that will keep them nice and clean as people pick them up and touch them at the craft fairs. I won't have to worry about them not being as clean as I would like them to be when somebody purchases them as a gift. So I punched, or I stapled that with a stapler, and I put the clean side on the back and my little bumps in the front, so that when I put my designer series paper on there, it's going to cover up the bumps. And that's up to you. That's just something I choose to do. But I hope you like today's project. Again, I thank you for being here with me today. If you're interested in placing an order, you will get a free customer appreciation PDF. So again, my name is Lisa. I'm with Queen Bee Creations, and I thank you for joining me today. Bye.